Hello everyone and welcome to the penultimate round of the 2013 LFSCART Series. It is the Jamaican Grand Prix from Fern Bay Gold Reversed. Jonathan Palmer and Dominik Engel with you. And, we had a pretty... it was very lightly attended, but there was some decent racing last time out at the Kyoto Oval Reversed, but the end of the race, extremely anticlimactic due to fuel concerns, fuel issues. Dom, it was a pretty good show for the first little bit, but then once everyone had to go into fuel saving mode for that long 130 plus lap run at the end, that long green flag run, it kind of everyone who tried to cut it close got a little screwed, didn't they?
It was a pretty ridiculous display of wrong strategies, really, when it comes to fuel. There's lots of people trying to get into people's draft, try and somehow save fuel, just get in the last drop, but a lot of them had to pit. I think actually all of them had to pit pretty much, and it just made it look like a bit of a farce, really.
Yep, so as after that round, Nicky Dekovic being the first two-time race winner this season. Point standings heading into the penultimate round. Jesse Telkla on his exclusion still with the points lead. 8 points ahead of Martin Kapal on 145 points. Martin Kapal, the virtual leader, he is not here today. Thorsten Ulrich is here. He will take the championship lead today as long as he scores at least 19 points, which he should do as long as he finishes 75%. He is third. Ronnie Krampus fourth. Nicky Dakovic in fifth, 49 points out of the lead. Has a possibility to remain mathematically eligible. If he gets some misfortune from Ulrich, he could be in with a decent shot. Nicky, of course, being a very fast driver. Zdenek Kagash, sixth on 103 points. Pelka, Dustin Dawes, missing the first two rounds, but having done every round since. Not that fast, but consistent, and that participation and consistency get you a decent spot in the grid this season. Ilari Usela won the fourth round. He'll start ninth. Or he's ninth in the championship, not racing today. Pikkinen 10th. Yaroslav Danilik 11th. Artu Yelostalo in today's race, 69 points back in 12th. Tony Latimaki 13th, Stephen Martin 14th, and 15th. Yanni Vahakubas in 15th. In the team championship, Race Green Autosports with a 58-point lead over Savage Sim Sports, Genuine Racing 3rd, Core Racing 4th, Dynamics Racing 5th, Team Virus 6th, Team Laptop Shop 7th, Last Lap Motorsports 8th and 9th, UK Computing Team. Iron Club, Infinity Esports, R-Force, Infinity, Angry Angus Racing, and Fred Loves Pie rounding out the top 15. The team championship is the combination of the highest two classified drivers for a team per race. So the summation of those top two. Nations Cup is the average of the highest two finishers representing that nation. If one driver shows up, it's still counted as two drivers, so it's on par with everyone else. So if someone, you get 50 points for a win, 40 points for second, 50 plus 40, 90 divided by 2, 45 is the maximum you can get, barring any bonus points. Finland with the lead by 49.5 over Czech Republic, Latvia, Canada, Germany 146 back, England, Netherlands, Bosnia and Herzegovina in 8th, United States of America 9th, Austria is 10th on 38 points. 35 points for Bulgaria, Ireland, Norway, Denmark, and Poland rounding out the top 15. So we'll have 72 racing laps here at Fern Bay Gold Reversed. Take a look at the track map on the right-hand side, and it's a fairly tight and twisted track, Dom. We can go into that a little bit on the formation lap. There will be one formation lap, and we'll be away. Before we do that, a quick look at the grid on pole. R2 Ilostalo with a 106.31. Thorsten Ulrich starting second, 106.5. Nicky Dakovic will start third on a 106.55. New driver to the series, Oliver Fiekstrom from First BFA Racing, 107.26. Steve Martin will start 5th. 6th will be another newcomer for AT Media Group Racing, Tommy Makinen. Ronnie Kromper 7th. Matthias Pipelka 8th. Zdenek Kagash will start 9th on a 108.30. Dustin Dawes will start 10th on a 109.56. And starting 11th and last, Ronald Campars. So, Dom, we've got about 4.5 seconds between 1st and 11th, but we've got some decent closeness in the top 3, and we've got 3 or 4 in the middle that are on a pretty good distance between each other.
Yeah, I reckon though it's gonna be about patience more than aggressive driving or overtaking, because this track is really not one where it's pretty easy to overtake. Most corner entries are very fast. The track itself is very, very narrow. And you really have to rely on the mistakes of the car in front of you to actually get somewhere. As you see here, we're going off the grid currently, right into the first chicane in what is a pretty short start-finish straight for LFS standards. Right here over those very large curves in the first chicane, and then that very twisty bit where you have to get your car slowed down for that right-hander, and then immediately into that 90-degree left-hander. It's very, very hard to get that wrong. And then you're immediately almost into that triple right-hander. It's not Istanbul, but we've got a triple apex corner pretty much, where it's impossible to overtake in these cars. The draft is just way too extreme. And then you get onto the bridge into what is probably the hardest corner on the track, because you either have understeer going in or oversteer going out. It's very hard to achieve a balance in that corner onto the bridge. And then you just on the bridge, just accelerate flat out through the next section, where we are currently through the S's. Of course, they are also pretty much impossible to overtake. And then you're coming downhill here under the bridge towards the last chicane, which has a pretty high second curb, which, well, the FO8 can roll on relatively easily if you catch it wrong or if you bottom out on it. So yeah, it's a hard track. And the leaders are already in their grid slots. As is everyone else now. And now it's just about waiting for the lights. The lights are on. Shortly.
Lights have been triggered. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Hold, hold, hold. Long hold, go! Race underway. Elo Stallo bogging down slightly on the start. But Ulrich and Nicky side by side into turn number 1. Around the outside. Nicky having to hold back into third. First, second, third, staying the way they were on the start. Everyone clean through turn number 1. Single file, line astern as they head around the triple right-hand sequence in the middle section of the course onto the overpass. Longest straight on the course pretty much, but one of the trickiest exit corners off of this bridge. That fast left-hander. Grass and very, very little runoff. Not FIA safe at all, I'm sure.
Not very safe, no. It's surely not a corner you should go side by side into. Usually someone's always going to lose out pretty badly, if not both of them, if none of the 2 drivers going into there side by side gives in. But everything's gone quite well so far, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how things go.
anyone having problems with the stream? Not hearing a couple reports of issues. Not sure what those might be. Oliver Fiekstrom and Stephen Martin, bit close together.
You really can't stay close together in these S's. Even if you try, you're just gonna run out wide so easy. It's pretty much hell out there if you're in someone's draft for that second half of the lap.
Further back, Makinen and Pavelka close together. Pavelka losing out later in the sweeping section on the back end of the course. I think, though, that Pavelka having a bit of a bad hit over the curbs on this first corner. The curbs at Fern Bay, most of the ones you want to hit fast, are pretty high, and if you hit them the wrong angle, it hit them enough. In the longer races, especially, suspension damage could play a role.
Yeah, but I think most people probably already adjusted their setups to suit the track more, to ride the curves better, to not get damage from it. At least from what I can see, there is not a immediate sign that someone's going to blow his dampers immediately.
Three laps, officially scored laps, are complete. Artu Yellow with the lead still. Thorsten Ulrich staying fairly close with him.
Yeah, from what I can see though, Artus should have the better tyres on the long run because he's got more core temperature, and that's going to be important once the heat peak's over. Could well be that, well, you're going to lose quite a bit of grip if you don't keep heating your tyres here, because all the important traction zones and turning points, all those slow speed corners are pretty impossible if you don't have mechanical grip.
As we saw in the first couple of rounds, safety car, it was more or less smart for those who had taken tires early to pit under that later race safety car. We saw those who pit had so much more speed over those who didn't and who were trying to finish the race on their old and cold tires.
Yeah, it's just the way it is with the tires in LFS. If they're old, once they don't have any tread anymore, it's well, pretty much a hopeless task to try even to get heat into them. They're just not gonna get any, unless they're R2s, and you're not gonna use R2s in these cars.
Kagash in the pits. Ronnie Krumpers and Zdenek Kagash already having made pit stops. There is a compulsory pit stop in the LFSCART Series. No service required, but you must take a stop in the pit lane.
Who knows, maybe they actually rolled over. Wouldn't be the most unusual thing to happen around here.
The chance of a rollover is always there, especially at this last chicane. Also, if you get that chicane just a little wrong, if you don't roll, you could run wide and get stuck in that gravel trap at the exit on the outside of the final corner. It has claimed victims many times before.
You gotta get it pretty wrong to do that.
Steve Martinoff on the bridge straightaway. Fairly easily done, just a little bit wide.
He's got a lot of right rear damage. He's probably gonna have to pit immediately with that.
Yeah, clout the Armco and you'll be pretty much so done for. Thorsten Ulrich closing in on Elo Stallo again. Closing in late. Ulrich trying to take a look up the inside into the final corner. Nothing doing. Elo Stallo holds off. These two scrapping, giving Nicky a bit of a chance to try and catch in. And if Ulrich, maybe he's better in this early part of the stint. Maybe he's lighter than Elo Stallo. Just looking for a way around. It's kind of like Monaco here. You don't really have any chance to overtake.
Not really. That from Ulrich, that was really opposite lock, diving, locked front tires. That was everything into that one move, and it didn't pay off because the gap was always going to disappear. But it's really interesting. Maybe he is light. I could imagine that, but I don't know what strategies those front two are on anyways. It seems Nicky is certainly on a heavier fuel load, I would say, but about those two, no clue really. Could be anything.
About the only real overtaking place on this track is that final corner.
Well, for the classic outbraking maneuver, certainly, yeah. It mostly doesn't work like that around here. You mostly have to wait for the guy in front of you to make a mistake, get a bad exit off a corner, and then just out accelerate him to the next turn, where it's pretty much the one who's ahead goes in first.
Ulrich putting it a little off on the exit of turn number 4.
Oh, and Stephen Martin into the wall right off the pits. Please tell me. Oh, he's got the exact same damage again. So that's another pit stop. Oh dear, oh dear. I wouldn't want to be a mechanic in his team. That's for sure.
When you go off there, that Arco is almost certain to damage you because you're always going to be spun around.
180 degrees.
Any way for you to orient yourself to hit it front. Ulrich is going off. Ulrich keeping it barely on. Incredible. Went up on 2 wheels, ran wide, keeping it just on. Very good save, losing not much time, about 2 or 3 tenths of a second.
He's gotta be careful, he can't do that too much. I've seen 1 or 2 flips this year already where someone flipped on someone else's slipstream, which is probably the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in LFS, but it really seemed like someone else just got really hung up on someone else's draft and flipped on it.
Looking from the gearbox of Elo Stallo back to that white car of Thorsten Ulrich. Hearing report that 07 here, the Makinen car, having a bit of an off. We find him straight on.
Ooh, Ulrich off again.
Off again.
Took that chicane very aggressively. A lot of that right hand side curve. Usually when I drove around here, I always avoided that. I didn't care if I lost half a second from it, but usually I always picked up places anyways, because people just get caught up in it so easy.
That Benetton livery car you're occasionally seeing in the background of some of these shots, like just now, well, just off the side of your screen, you wouldn't see it there. You'll see him just there on the bottom, now towards the top of your screen, just falling off the top. That is Nicky Jakovic. He can see them ahead on some of these longer straightaways. A mistake by either of them that could put them off for a little while, give them grief to get back on. Nicky could gain a place here. He's not close enough to be of any direct impact, but he's close enough to have
he's off again! Ulrich's off again!
Is he getting? Could it be a problem? Is he being
just
slightly
always way
unsighted
too close.
He's
He's just always way too close behind R2.
So it's kind of like him being unsighted. He can't really see his line, He
I think
can't.
he's just trying to charge up to the rear of him way too much. Arthur is trying to take the chicane way more carefully than he is. He's just been caught out by it 3 times in a row now.
Ideally, at that chicane, how far behind you want to be? That way you can still get a good run into the final corner if you want to try the out-braking overtake.
At the moment, he's certainly falling into the clutches of Nicky. If anything, he's just dropping back because of his mistakes.
The top 3 pretty much equidistant from each other.
This time he was far enough away, his chicane wasn't a problem at all.
Ulrich, would you kind of think he needs to just kind of take a couple laps to kind of get his mind back into it, not be so close, stay close enough so he's in contact, but not so close that he can't see his marks? He's not trying to just follow Ilostalo straight.
Well, he just can't charge into the towards the rear of the car if he's already pretty close into that chicane. That's all he's got to do, really. If he keeps trying, then eventually he'll end up upside down about 200 meters from the track.
Through the backside of the course again. We'll see if Ulrich stays close and makes the same mistake. No, he'll keep it on the gray stuff. Now he tried. No, almost looked like he was going to go for a dive on the
Ilostalo
inside.
with the defensive line there, right on the inside through the whole corner, already pretty much. But Ulrich's got the draft. He's going to go for the outside.
Side by side, turn 1 and 2. Ulrich is spun. Ilostalo's off. Ilostalo has gone well off. Where's he gone?
Oh, he's gone into the armco on the right side of the track. That was completely Ulrich's fault. It wasn't really his fault. He was ahead, but they should have never gone side by side through there. They're both stupid for that. Even if you're gonna give up your position, even if you're gonna give up 2, you're not gonna give up that much. They're just trying to give the win to Nicky again.
Who would you, Stephen Martin having... Oh, we've got a car upside down! Steve Martin is upside down on the chicane! Safety car scrambled. Safety car is scrambled. He is on the inside of the apex. And he's been hit by Ulrich.
He's also upside down! Unbelievable! What on
He
earth
hit him,
are
and
they
I guess
doing?
he flipped. He rolled. I think he rolled
Oh
on the
my-
embankment.
Ah, you're kidding. Well, the last one lap was just a complete display of stupidity, really. What not to do in a race, and it's happened all in a lap. Oh, and there's a... Oh, no, wait. For a second I thought Stephen Martin was Dustin Dawes.
Oh, Crumbush has just missed
Oh
his...
my
I
God.
think he's not been paying attention. He's running... There are certain tires there that are fairly unmovable, and now he is
And
stuck.
now he can't get away because the rescue car's there. Oh my days. You can't be serious. We're now trying to make a drama out of every race because no
Wait a
one's
minute.
racing.
How did Ulrich get on his wheels?
I don't know. Was reset on again? Yeah, it must have been reset again because he's got brand new tires. He must have reset his car. There's no other way he could have gone back on his wheels.
So he is.
Oh, and he's charging into the chicane and hit the rescue car, and now he's rolling away up the hill. What on earth is he doing? What on earth?
That is unacceptable. Twice hitting a stranded car when you should have yellow flags. You should know about safety car.
No. When you should be lying
he was still there.
No, when
you should have known he was there because you hit him the first time.
No, he shouldn't be there at all. He should be upside down next to the track, frankly.
So he has been given the official DNF command by the race director Thilo Falkenberg. Nicky Dakovic.
Yeah, he's
the leader.
basically been gifted the lead by what happened in the last couple of laps. And he's got a lapped car between him and Ulestalo, which means on a restart he'll be pretty fine. And if he's on a heavy strategy, then, well, happy days.
Yeah, well, now if Dustin decides to get out of the way, which he could.
Fix your lag.
Ulrich giving a message that's not at all the.
I'm gonna politely say that's complete BS. There was no lag. If you know you're gonna have to shortcut the corner, you're not gonna do it 2 meters from the racing line. You're gonna shortcut it by a big margin so you don't cause an incident. And he caused an incident. He ran into the 9 car, and frankly, that's undeniable.
Yeah, unfortunately, this would be a great time to show a replay, but, we have never tested 2 separate LFS instances on simrace.tv. We have done replays before, but it requires a second instance, and I think in the time it would take to get
be a bit shorter.
We'd be 5 laps later, so.
I think he still should have backed out because he was the one on the right side, and when you're on the right side in that first corner, then usually you're always gonna lose out. And also you have no excuse for not taking just the escape road. Well, not the escape road, but just by going over the grass and cutting the track to avoid an incident. No one would say anything if you do that to avoid an incident. Unless you, of course, keep the position, then someone would be quite angry with you, but, well, that's a different kind of story.
Safety car will be in. 1 car between Dustin and Ulestalo. So we'll have Nicky leading from Ulestalo. Ulestalo asking for permission here in the 11th hour coming to the restart. Nicky can accelerate anytime, as long as he does not overtake the safety car before it enters the pit lane.
I think he's probably gonna try and get the launch off the last corner, and he spun off the track! He spun off the track and given up the lead!
He's got to stay behind Ulestalo because that's where he rejoined. Ulestalo is effectively the leader. Dawes, now this could have been, the race direction could have elected to abort the restart to let Dawes get ahead, try it again next lap. But they haven't. Dawes getting out of the way, and Ulestalo back into the lead. What a chaotic last few laps. Nicky being hounded by Oliver Fiekstrom here on the restart.
He's got a bit more front tyre temperature, certainly, than Nicky. So that's probably why he's got a bit more grip just now, but he's also got a bit of suspension damage. I'm not sure where from. Probably had... No, it was just lag. Oh well, fantastic. But personally, I'm 100% convinced that incident in turn 1 was not lag related.
Dustin Dawes off at turn 8, exiting the after the bridge. R2 Elostero having not much damage after that hard shunt with the wall in that turn 1 incident
No.
with Ulrich.
He was lucky he hit it quite straight, but I don't know. To me it's quite clear who should have given in from the two, and well, not who should have given in, but who had the chance to avoid the crash, and that person clearly didn't do it very well. As you can see, there was a crash.
The only real effect Elostero has is his rear left wheel is further forward than his rear right wheel, with that little awesome bit of LFS damage that can make your rear wheels not be.
He's got two different specs of car on each side. So got ultimate downforce because he's got a 90. He's got a vertical rear wing, really. Yeah, it seems like he's pulling a pretty good gap for now. Hit the fastest lap of the race, or his fastest lap of the race, and the fastest lap of the race actually as well, yeah, on his last lap. Which isn't actually a bad achievement, because it's, well, I think the second lap on the green. So, yeah.
Everything getting a little settled out again. Apart from the oval rounds, that's the first safety car we've had in quite a few rounds here in LFSCART.
Well, yeah, but then on the other side, there weren't many people to crash into. Partly. Of course, only the season I don't race where there are no safety cars to complain about. Another fastest lap, so yeah, he's doing his best to try and pull away, and if he's on a light strategy, then he can make it work again just now. Because now he also hasn't got anyone behind him charging on his rear wing and then crashing into him. Apparently it slows your progress, I heard.
Feickstrom's spinning just behind.
Ooh, yes. He got a lucky spot though.
So here's Elostero out of the final corner. I don't know if you'll be able to really see it that well on the stream, but his rear left tire is further forward, so his left side wheelbase is about 7 inches shorter than his right side wheelbase.
That's quite considerable, especially since, well, this triple right-hander here, the last one of which is very, very important on traction, and if he's got a shorter left rear wheelbase, then it should be quite oversteery, like he just showed it is. It really looks like he's trying to do everything to make the car turn, like he's dropped a lot of front roll bar, or stiffened up the rear one quite a lot, or both. Because that thing is really just dancing around through the corners.
Would like to take a quick mention about some other things going on right now in Live for Speed. The annual 16 hours race done by Racing Minds on at the moment, starting about an hour and 10 minutes ago, if I'm not much mistaken.
Well, it's a bit under that, I think. and another yellow flag.
Papelka
That's-
off.
Papelka off in the same corner as Feistkorn was.
So joining us now in the commentary box is Kagash has just gone off. Anyway, joining us now in the commentary box, Steve Martin, who has obviously just retired. Steve, we didn't see what happened. We saw the end result. So what happened to put you on your roll?
I think coming into the final section just before the chicane, I believe I put two wheels on the tarmac on the left-hand side, where the yellow lines are. That really unsettles the car. From there on, I was a passenger basically going sideways, and I went backwards into the tyres in the chicane, and that rolled me several times.
So you probably had a little bit of vertigo for a second, for being rolled several times.
Yeah, a little. It's just spending all that time just hoping you land on your wheels, and it's 50-50 shot in that situation basically, and didn't work out for me.
So then you're sitting there upside down, waiting to be told you can spectate. Probably taking a drink, just tabbing through and maybe see what's going on, and all of a sudden, someone hits you. What do you think? What kind of goes through your head when you realize someone's hit you while you're upside down on the apex of a corner?
Well, I can sort of understand how it happens in a way, because that was very early in the safety car scenario. It was the first time that the top guys have come through, and they're going through quite quickly, and they haven't seen where the car is, and I was right at the apex basically. And yeah, I felt that I think the last guy in that little pack hit me, just tapped me a bit, but I didn't realise that Ulrich, I think it was upside down until quite a bit after that.
So your race was obviously short after then, but how were things going? Was your strategy you were telling me about, do you think that might have been on track for working?
I abandoned that earlier today when I realised it wasn't going to work. What I was going to do was a two-stop, three short stints basically, but I went for 50-50 fuel and tyres today. I guess the front runners were on heavier fuel because I was keeping up with Nicky Jakovic, which doesn't happen every week. But the race was going okay. I started 5th, I got up to 4th, and I was just holding on to 4th, and a good 5 laps or so, reasonable pace, and then I stuck two wheels on the grass in the long right-handers, and then did it again the following lap.
Yeah, we did notice twice in a row you went off on the double right-handers.
Yeah, that was quite frustrating, really. It cost you so much time getting back with a damaged car, pitting, and completely blowing the strategy, and then you do it again on your out lap.
Which would obviously annoy your virtual mechanics.
Yeah, they weren't best pleased, let's put it that way.
So you've done a pretty good number of the races of the LFSCART series so far. You've done a good few anyway. What's your kind of thoughts on the whole season been?
Well, I missed quite a big chunk of it. I did the first round and then missed the following four. Yeah, which is basically half the season. And then since I got back to racing, it's been low grid, so it's been quite unusual in a way, but I've been having fun just getting back behind the wheel again. Just hopefully in 2 weeks I can end it on a slightly better note.
Alright, of course 2 weeks time is Kyoto National, which will be a fast and flowing track. Should be a good test of who can get a good fast setup and who can be smooth on the car.
Niki Djakovic almost rolled.
Well, that's all we'd all need. So, Steve, what are you kind of most looking forward to in 2 weeks' time at Kyoto?
The fact that only Jack Sedgwick can roll
That's
on
true.
that track.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting bit back at a road course. It's not completely dangerous like we've had. This track is pretty tricky. South City, the last road course that the series went to, you're just constantly hitting walls and very tight and twisty. So it's to be back on the what you call a normal road course. But I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully I have a teammate there as well, and we'll give it a good go.
Alright, Steve, well, commiserations for your untimely departure from this race, but hopefully you can have a good finish in 2 weeks' time to finish out the 2013 LFSCART season.
Cheers, guys.
Well, Dom, looks like Nikki just nearly destroyed the curve again at the chicane.
Yeah, it's what you call a Bosnian flip, the counterpart to the Scandinavian flick. Would have called if he did it, but he didn't, just. Even though he made my heart stop for about 2 seconds.
So just having a quick look through the points scenario. Ulrich, who I said if he didn't fail, you know, as in if he didn't, if he didn't fail like he did,
It just got
curse the commentator.
he's got as many points as Ronnie Kromperst did last round. None.
Yes.
Which is considerably less than some.
Yes. So that's just a little unfortunate for him.
Who's the highest? Is Nicky the highest placed person in a championship? Who's still running?
Well, we've got Krampusch who's still there. I'm doing
yeah,
the
of
maths
course.
right now, so it's if Krampusch finishes, he'll probably be in the championship lead.
That's a situation he probably didn't think he would be in.
No, but he is the only driver who has done every round so far this season. And as far as I'm concerned, if you've done every round of the season, you deserve to be in the hunt for the title at the end of the race. If you've been running consistently and getting decent top 3, 4, 5 finishes, you deserve to be at least in the top 3 in the championship come season end.
Then Nicky deserves to be in it because he's raced every race he was allowed to. Surely his chances can't be actually that bad. They must be more realistic than my chances 2 years ago when I had to, I don't know, find a cure for cancer and God knows what to win the championship.
Zdenek Kagash and Roland Kampars fairly close together back for 7th position. We've got 9 cars left out of the 11 who started.
Oh, just a bit of a mistake there from Kagash. Lost a bit of ground. Oh, now Campos did a major mistake and Kagash throws the car off the road. So that's that battle.
Yep, so that's battle has dissolved. Dom, you know what I think it's time for?
I don't know. Countdown theme?
Our usual talk about Dustin Knowles.
Oh yes, is he's hungover today, isn't he?
No, that was yesterday.
That was yesterday. Oh well.
Yeah, he's getting married very soon. He had his stag do this past Thursday Eve. He So our commiserations to him for about to be losing his life to a woman.
And his
But,
money and
yes.
everything he owns, and all his friends and all the friends he would have got if he didn't get married.
Yep. And certain other things that I'm not going to mention because it's not watershed hour yet. But yeah, I mean, in the end, congratulations to him, because at least it's one less person for one of us to have to marry. But you know, it's good to have him back in LFS League Racing. He's been having great fun. He's been trying to pump up some others to get around. He gets out of the way of Elo Stallo, who comes through the lap. But he's just been trundling around at the back, having fun. He knows he's not the fastest, but still, he's doing what he can.
And he's making up the numbers, which, well, this season in LFSCART at least seems to be quite important. As it does in Turbo Trophy actually tomorrow, but that's a whole different matter.
So just having a quick look at the points scenario. Nicky Dekovic would be on 144 points if the race ended as it were, with full points ordered, obviously, which it wouldn't because we're not halfway through yet. But Ronnie Krampusch would earn 30 points for his current 5th position.
Ooh, and Rastal almost spun it out of the last corner.
Well, yeah, Ronnie Krampusch would be on 162 points. Flame would stay second
ahead
on 145, or he would be 3rd. So Krampusch would take the lead. Telkola would be second on 153 points.
But yeah,
Flame,
he's not gonna race, so...
Yeah, Kapal would be third, excuse me, on 64 points. 4th would be Nicky Dakovic on 144. And Thorsten Ulrich provisionally would be on 134 points, what he came into this round with, in 5th position.
So I'm gonna be optimistic and say either Martin or Nicky are gonna win the championship, if nothing happens.
Just had an update from Race Control. Elo Stallo, having to put 2 wheels on the grass, gets around Campars, but that could have been risky for him. Breaking news from the house of Thilo Falkenberg. Apparently his chair has broken.
Again. Didn't that happen only a few years ago?
I don't know. May have gotten a new chair since then.
I got a new chair only like a month ago. I keep buying the same one even though it keeps breaking. Just because it's that cheap.
So Nicky would have an 18-point gap between himself and Krampusch after this round, which means Ronnie would have to finish no better than 5th, and Nicky would have to win.
Well, it's possible. Kyoto National usually is not the most unpopular track. Could be that there are a couple of cars there.
And, of course, Kapal will be in attendance at the final round, I believe.
Gonna be a oh my god, moment like in Emery a few years ago.
Could be. Well, we did have the 2010 LFSCART season, had that, was it 2010 or 2011?
Must have been, that was 2011. 2010 had the most boring championship.
Yeah, 2011 with that pretty interesting fight between Mr. Simon Cattell and Mr. Jarl Tyen.
It also had me trying to win the championship by curing cancer HIV, AIDS, and all other kinds of diseases, because that's what I had to do to win the championship. Being 52 points back, if I remember right.
Let's watch Nikki for a few laps. Ronald's cam power is off in the chicane. Dom, I have just heard official word from Thilo that if you do cure HIV and cancer, he will give you the next 3 championships, no questions asked.
Next 3 championships of what?
I don't know.
If it's the World Championship for watching at soup, I can do that quite well. Looking at even.
So the LFS UK kart meet was today?
And it's still on tomorrow and stuff.
Well, everyone's going home tomorrow. Everyone's back at the palatial estate of one Jason Matthews, also known as Turkey. If you guys are watching there at the UK kart meet, hello. Hope you all had a good day at the karting, and would someone please join the NDR TeamSpeak and give us a full report? If not, that was just a waste of breath. But every year that Turkey's hosted, it's been a great event. Right here, everyone just has a cracker of a time. It's something that anyone who lives near there who can spare the money, I think, should do.
Probably a better event than anything that's happening this weekend.
And we're gonna have a drive-through coming up for 13 shortly. Not even sure what that's supposed to be.
I think a yellow flag.
Maybe he wants one.
Why doesn't he just crash then? He already had one. He already spun.
So Theo will give the penalty. So drive-through penalty has been given by Thilo Falkenberg, our race director. He'll have 3 passes of the pit lane in which to serve it. And he's in. It's a very short pit lane here, Dom.
Yeah, pretty much just in and out pretty quick. Although in F8 it's slightly more costly because the cars are going by quicker than they would be in slower cars, obviously. Didn't lose a place from it, so, well, probably isn't worrying about that penalty too much.
Just looking through some of the cars, and Gilo Stallo getting a little bit of damper damage on mostly on the rear tires, a little bit on the front tires. Don't think that'll be too much of an issue. Hasn't been so far.
It's relatively even on the rear tires, on the rear dampers on both of them, so that's still drivable. Would be worse if it was only on one massively and on the other barely at all. So this LFS game we're using here.
Yes.
That-
Sorry for not being talkative. Mr. Ulrich is discussing the incident with me in a private chat.
But this LFS game we're on at the moment, there's
Yes.
quite a lot happening later this year, isn't there?
Well, why don't you kind of talk about it?
Oh, do I get money? I'll make a fund for it.
Yeah. Make a plea.
I call it a fund. Yeah, there will be a lot happening later this year. At the moment we have, well, later this year, quite soon actually, as in tomorrow, we have the finale of the 2013 edition of the Genuine Racing Turbo Trophy, with technically a championship being having to be decided on the driver's side. 72 laps SO6. If you're signed up for it, feel free to confirm. There are still lots of spots available, and it would
Can I sign up
be nice.
after this race finishes and just kind
No,
of
you're too late.
Oh.
But yeah, if you're signed up, feel free to confirm. Would be nice to have a half decent crew of cars for the finale tomorrow. Would at least be a nice way to end the season. And then also we have going on, which even you can sign up for, Deco still. The Genuine
really?
Racing Grand Touring Masters, yes. Which is, well, halfway through its season right now. Next round coming up in a week's time at Fern Bay Black. 250 kilometers of Fern Bay, 37 laps plus 1 formation lap in the GT2 restricted GTR cars. If you want to enter, just go to the LFS forum, Genuine Racing subsection. You can't miss it. Well, you can, but you've got to be trying pretty hard to do so. And then later this year we also have, well, endurance coming back, don't we?
Why, yes we do.
In form of the GT, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but nothing
GT.
World Series.
Yep, that will be hopefully a good series. I definitely know that my 3ID will have a presence. It probably will not have any of the big names of my 3ID's past, but I'm thinking at least Artur Ilostallo and Tomek Nozick, who is a self-professed GTR whore, let's say. Not sure who else they're going to have on that team, but should be good. GT1 and GT2 in that. Jury is still out on most things, but the schedule is already available. Starts on, I believe, October 26th at West Hill International Reversed.
The weekend before that is the 9-hour race, the Genuine Racing 9 Hours of Aston Historic Reversed, which is, well, let's say a race for the top teams in our championships, GT1 Challenge, GT Masters, and the Turbo Trophy. Also rewards top teams of other championships. But anyone is welcome to enter, frankly. So if you want to enter, again, Genuine Racing subsection and the LFS League subsection, you can't miss the sign up for it there. 19th of October is the race. Whole event starts on the 15th of October, if I'm not mistaken, with pre-qualifying. So if you want to enter an endurance race, that's a manageable length without having to sleep to get to the end. So then feel free.
Of course, the GT World Series will have a 24-hour race. I believe it is the weekend of February 8th and 9th, 2014.
It is, yes.
Last year's 24-hour race by NDR on the 2nd and 3rd of February was actually a pretty good race for the entire time. Dom will contest that, I'm sure.
I'll most probably be talked into it if I don't want to.
The
So the
on the
answer to
whole,
that is
the
yes.
race was pretty good. There were only what 3 safety cars, 2 or 3 safety cars.
Yeah, well, let's say
before the 12-hour mark.
the 6 hours the first 6 hours were pretty good as a race, but after that it got very, very, very stretched out. And then the finish I didn't like. We could have skipped that.
Matthias Pepelka having off. He had just made a pit stop. For those who might be wondering why Dom would be upset about the finish, his team, Genuine Racing,
0.1 of a second!
lost by that number. Would you please repeat, Dom?
0.01 of a second, I'm sorry. 1/100th of a second. After
1/100th
24
of a second.
mucking hours.
Didn't Crazy was in the car. I thought I heard them rumbling. There was rumblings of engine damage.
There wasn't any engine damage.
Crazy just failed, essentially.
There wasn't any engine damage, I didn't think there was, and frankly it turned out to be true after the race. There wasn't any at all. Well, other teams have reduced the engine to a popcorn machine, but we sure didn't have any engine damage.
So essentially, Krasimir Ivanov just kind of failed.
No, he didn't fail. He just didn't have any traction in a car with turbo lag on cold tires, and yeah.
It was a pretty good finish, though, you have to admit, for TV.
I don't know. I didn't see it. As you know, I rage quit.
And you went away pretty much immediately. But, it was a pretty good finish, but you know, on the whole, that race was good. NX Racing won that race with the way they won that race by so
We're having a crash every
everything
2 hours with wheel problems.
Everything that happened in that race, and for them to win by, what was it, 2 laps? I still can't believe that.
They won by 1 lap max. They won by less than a lap, I think.
Still, it was just
everyone
incredible.
else did a lot of stuff to fail as well. So yeah. I think the best, another great fate was when the Virus Amco in that race got stuck in the gravel in the last corner, to then be retrieved and go around another sector and then get stuck in the gravel in another corner. Which basically lost them about 3 laps in about a third of a lap.
I think didn't one of their wasn't this they got retrieved like 2 or 3 times. Someone got retrieved 1 or 2 times and then eventually got stuck at turn 9 that corner and called.
No, they didn't get stuck there. I think that was someone else.
Right.
Especially because by then they had no interest in getting stuck because frankly they were so far back.
On to present day events. How about a quick shout out to Team Virus with a 30-second or so lead over the FFR Absolute Revival team in the 16-hour race. It was supposed to be, I think, a triple class race with.
Yeah, but I think LRF
GT2
had 2 sign-ups and TBO 3, and well, they just combined it. They just combined it to GT2 only. Gave teams in the lower class the possibility to get into the GT2 class with late notice, I think. Certainly not as glorious as it used to be.
Stallo ran wide and has clouded the Armco at turns 5 and 6. That double right-hander right around the split left side. Control arms with some heavy damage. Nicky not close enough to capitalize yet. The gap about 7 seconds at the intermediate. That could upset Elo Stallo's handling. We'll have to see. It'll take a lap to figure it out.
Lost about 3.5 seconds from that, frankly.
Yep, gap
From that
down to about
incident alone.
5.3.
Didn't get too much damage from it though. Well, not too much. Not too much from the... if considering he, well, sideswiped the wall. I think he's even still got negative camber on his left front, which is, well, quite good for him.
.24 laps remaining in this 72 lap race. I think there's not that many significant right-hand turns that would require a fairly good left side of the car. There's not that many fast ones, so I think he may get away with that damage.
He might, especially since most right-handers are pretty slow or pretty fast and not that kind of third gear medium speed meh corner where you really need the front to grip and the rear to grip.
Top 3, Ilostalo, Jakovic, Fakestrom. None of them have made their compulsory pit stop yet. They've got just over 22 laps yet to complete that. Ronnie Krompusch and Mikkonen fairly close together. Krompusch, if he can close and overtake Mikkonen, that gets him an extra 2 points in the championship. And makes it just a little more difficult for Nicky Jakovic to win the championship. Ilostalo in the pits. Nicky Jakovic continues on. Ilostalo not repairing the damage. Takes fresh tires though. 10 seconds for the stop for fuel and tires for Ilostalo. I'm pretty sure Nicky will take fuel and tires. Not sure how long it'll take. Of course, not much time to be gained or lost on this pit entry. You just have to have good slow and accelerate. It's unlike, say, a Kyoto or an Aston pit entry. It's a fairly straight pit lane.
I think Nicky could gamble and not change tires. I somehow have a feeling he will. I'm not sure, but his tires still look quite okay actually. I think he probably will do that, frankly, for the simple reason that he's just not as fast as Ilostalo. And he needs a gap from somewhere.
Ilostalo's outlap 1:26.88. Now let me ask you this question, Dom.
Yes.
If a safety car would come out in the next couple laps,
Yes.
if you're Ilostalo, would you pit again to fix the damage and have a fresh car for the last 15 laps?
Perhaps. Depending on where I was before, and on how many positions I would lose, pretty sure, yeah.
Well, not going to lose a single place right now, technically, because Fikstrom is now a lap down to Nicky and now Ilostalo. And seeing as Nicky's not made his compulsory stop yet, does it's really kind of a question of, is it worth the time? Is it worth whatever he might be? If Ilostalo thinks that he could get better lap times and do better with the fresh car.
He's got pretty decent pace if he can keep it out of the walls, but it's probably much harder for him now on the fresh set of tires because he's just not used to the grip they're giving him, and they'll behave different than the set he just had because they were worn down and all nice and gripped in and stuff. So I think he's probably losing out to Nicky, who's, well, he's not setting fastest laps, but he's doing low sevens quite consistently.
Remember, Nicky had about, what was it, a 5-second gap before the pit stop. And Ilostalo's pit stop took 10 seconds for the tires and fuel. Contact between Krampusch and Mäkinen. Still fairly close in a battle. Of course, Krampusch, the provisional championship leader. When Nicky Dakovic completes this lap, which he has just now done, we will have 75% complete. So the two leaders have completed 75% of the race. Drivers like Mäkinen and Krampusch and Fikstrom will have to do another lap before they complete 75% to guarantee them points, even if they DNF.
I wasn't wrong when I said Nicky for sure is on a heavy strategy, because he really is on a heavy strategy, but I'm not sure on the no tire change thing anymore. It would probably be too much for those tires.
So Nicky, the last one yet to pit.
I think he might make the jump. Arthur just lost over a second on that last lap.
Yeah, I think he's having some problems with that damage in the chicane.
Also in the way it offsets the balance of the car, because his right rear tire is heating up way more than any other tire, as is his left front, on which he has no camber anymore, so...
Roland's cam power is just ahead for Nicky to lap. Nicky carries on another lap. 56 laps of 72 complete. Gap is almost 22 seconds, which I think would put Nicky just a couple seconds ahead of Ilostalo after his pit stop. Of course, it's still easy to make a mistake at this track. It's not over until it's over.
I think Nicky's having problems now because he just simply can't get close to the back marker in front of him, because every time he tries to get close, there's just a draft, which means he just can't get any closer.
It'd be a fairly good time to pit, I'd say, right now. Elo Stella having even bigger problems. Elo Stella pits again.
Gonna fix damage for sure, yeah. He's fixed damage. Pretty much means he's given up first place. Could see
So
Nicky pit this time around because he knows he's got nothing to lose anymore.
Yeah, and if he carries on, he could lap Elo Stella. Nicky carries on. Elo Stella just leaving the pits. And Nicky has just overtaken him, so Nicky has a lap on the entire field right now. All drivers who are running now will get points regardless of a DNF at this point. The only thing that could take points away would be a penalty. I think this could be perhaps classed as the most grueling race on the calendar, Dom.
It's certainly the most dangerous track on a calendar, with those high curbs and the fast approaches to those curbs, but most people have gotten through it so far.
So Nicky pits. Elo Stella unlaps himself. The only thing that could help Elo Stella now would be a safety car, barring any other unforeseen happenings to Mr. Jakovic. And Ronnie's gone off at the chicane, but not losing him a position far enough ahead. And Mäkinen pits in. So that gives Krumpers 4th place, gives him 2 more points.
The best yellow flag message so far was the one from Kagash when he spun at the last corner, and the system said he caused a yellow flag at turn 1.
Oh, really?
Yes. He very much was not at turn 1, because I immediately went to him and he was very much at the exit of the last corner.
So the only thing, if there was a safety car now, it would bunch everyone up. And the only cars that would be between Elo Stella and Jakovic, and we've got Fikestrom off in the gravel trap at the final corner. He's kept the momentum. He should get out.
Oh, he's out.
Kept the momentum up and returns. So that gives Krumpus 3rd. Gives him 35 points, which just even more gives him even more padding in the Drivers' Championship.
It could be a very interesting season finale, and this is probably gonna be another season finale this year. That's gonna be decided at Kyoto National, and A very interesting statistic is who won the championship the last time there was a season finale, with the championship being decided at Kyoto National this year. Because I think you could probably guess who that was.
So Krampusch would have 33 points right now. Or excuse me, 23 points. So yeah, Krampusch would have 23 points over Niki Jakovic, and with 52, excuse me, available for a win. But anyway, what I was trying to say earlier before we had the car go off, if there was a safety car and a restart now, the amount of cars between Ilostalo and Jakovic, 6.
Yeah, so one short a lot.
Assuming no one took the chance to pit. Of those who pit earlier may pit for warmer tires. So Ronnie Krampusch, barring anything unforeseen happening here in the last 10 or so laps of the race, Krampusch looking to be on a fairly decent championship placement, if not the top step of the podium following this round. Or following the next round. Chances are looking good for him.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, it's gonna be Niki again who goes to Kyoto National and steals the championship by no points. So that's what he did the last time he went to a championship finale at Kyoto National.
Essentially, he would need Krampusch now to finish 6th or worse at the finale, and Niki would have to win with all the bonus points.
But then he would win any tie, frankly.
Yeah, because he's won 2 races.
Well, yeah.
And he's on the way for 3, assuming he can keep it on the road.
That's the same thing that helped him win in GT1 Challenge. He won the championship because of the number of wins. He was 100% tied on points with 2nd place.
So looking ahead 2 weeks to Kyoto National, we're not going to really have any risk of rolling per se. What's going to be the biggest challenge that everyone's going to be facing?
Just basically maintaining the corner speed with high fuel and cold tires, really, because it's well, it's not cold tires. The cold tires shouldn't be really that much of an issue. There aren't too many super low speed parts that are very technical. Since the track's pretty low downforce as well, you can get heat into the tires pretty easy, but it's probably the easiest track the series has been to for quite a while.
Kagash is buried in the final corner. I don't really know if that's a safe enough place to get a car. Safety car is on standby. Rescue car is on the way. Kagash is going to try to mouse out.
I think the rescue car can get to him safely before there's more traffic coming through.
Yeah, there's enough gaps where I think it'll be a safe recover, no need for a safety car. Kagash is actually making a little bit of progress.
If he gets a little nudge or two, then he should be out.
That one nudge takes care of it. He's on the grass. He's got to update his controls. He does. He's got a clearing. So, crisis averted. 7 to go.
But that got Niki sweating quite a bit.
International, we should see a few good draft battles on the long oval section of the course.
You can pretty much overtake everyone on that track. The infield's wide enough, the oval is 10 times wide enough, so overtaking there isn't really an issue. It's like having the season finale at Aston National, frankly.
Campar's off at turn 4. He's got his wheels down, so no problems there. Oh, and actually he's got a front left puncture, so he does have problems. So he'll be nursing it around. Nicky getting around easily. Stu Baker reports that his tires have cooled down to 25 degrees C, which means that's about the ambient temperature. Well, other than that, he says they've actually leveled off there, so that's about the ambient temperature in LFS.
But not in LFS, technically, because I remember I once got them down to 22 on autocross, I think. Seems to be the ambient temperature here. Quite cold for Jamaica at this time of year, really.
It can get pretty cold. Well, it's dusk, so.
Dusk as in dusk indoors.
Not quite.
Chance for a lame joke taken.
So Djekovic out of the final corner. 4 laps to go. Let's watch Dustin Dawes have a lap put on him by Ronnie Krampusch. We know he'll appreciate that being seen. He yields. Yielding at an appropriate place on the course is appropriate. Back to Nicky. Let's just ride on board with him for a little bit. Three laps remaining. Djekovic into turn 1 again.
He's not really pushing it anymore, he's just cruising around now. Then who can blame him? Not like he still has to, so...
Two to go for Nicky. On board Stallo as he works his way through the middle sector of the course. According to Thilo, Nicky is trying for a fast lap. Current best lap
I
of the
think
race
so, yeah.
is 106.86. Set on lap 47 by Stallo.
I think he at least wants to get at 06.
Final lap signal at the line this time.
Oh, and he does at 06, 06.91.
106.91. Wonder if he's going to try to beat that on this final lap. And he's not. That first split is too far off.
He's 0.05 of his last first split. He's not really far off. But if I was him, I certainly wouldn't try again, simply because you have to take the chicane like a mad person. And
No!
whoa! Ah! That was.
That was so close to over. But Nicky Dakovic, with luck on his side, 3 from 3 in the LFSCART Series. Nicky Dakovic wins the 3rd straight here at Fern Bay. Ronnie Krompers will be the next to cross the line of the podium. He'll come around in 3rd to collect 35 points. And we've got a problem. Stallo's had a problem. Stallo's had a problem. Not what in the world has happened. I think he clouded the wall. His left rear is totally wasted. He's gonna hobble home to 2nd still. Not at all sure what happened. Stallo completing with a totally destroyed left rear suspension. Dominik Gash did not finish. It says he disconnected. It didn't say he was spectated by LFS. So after 72 laps complete, Nicky Dakovic with the win. So after all laps complete, take a look at the provisional results we've got. Nikifor Dekovic on the win by a minute, 12.5 over R2 Ilostalo. All right, with us we have the top three. Race winner Nikifor Dekovic with a race unofficial time of 1:26:50.50. Second, R2 Ilostalo second, minute 12.55 behind, and one lap down in third, Ronnie Krampus. Ronnie out of fuel, so he'll need to be assisted to the podium. But Nicky, pretty good race for you. 3 wins in your 3 LFSCART races. Tell us about your race.
Well, the race was about strategy, patience, and this sort of thing. So I just drove in my rhythm and held my tempo and this sort of thing. And I was mostly behind because not start on pole position, but as the race went, because I stayed out longest, I was eventually leading, and from then I just stayed there somehow.
When you were essentially gifted the lead when Ilostalo and Ulrich had their coming together early in the race, I don't know, how well did you see that incident? What was your reaction when you saw both off track?
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. I just I completely focused on my what I'm gonna do there, so I wasn't really paying attention what they were doing, and the next I knew, I was leading. But there was little mistake at the restart with safety car, because the car is still a little bit new for me, so even though the tires weren't that cold, maybe like 93 degrees or so, I just, as I touched the throttle, it just snapped, and I was again in second position. So from then, I had a whole new race.
Alrighty, we'll come back to you in just a second. R2 Ilostalo, congratulations on your second position. You led a good bit of the race. Talk us through that incident with Ulrich, side by side into turn 1, and all of a sudden both of you off track. What went on from your point of view?
I don't know. We just crashed together, and we had some racing, and some incident, and both of us lost the position for Nikki because of that. So yeah.
So on the whole, you had a fairly decent race. Do you think without some of that damage you had late in the race, do you think you had a chance at Nicky, all things equal, without the damage and waiting for his pit stop?
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I would have won Nicky maybe if I didn't have the damage.
Alrighty, thank you. We'll come back to you in just a minute. Ronnie Krampus, congratulations on your podium. The third step of the podium, obviously, but on the whole, you drove a fairly quiet and consistent race. Tell us about your race.
Well, as you tell, it was quite race. Nothing special. Well, I had some fights with the new guy, Makinen, if I spell it correctly. Finally, I got past him, so I could keep my pace. Then later, Oliver Feistkorn made a mistake, so I took even third. My first podium position in my LFSCART career.
What were some of the challenges in the race for you? Did you have really any challenges, or was it just keeping it on the track, keeping focused?
Keeping all four wheels on track, definitely. The chicane almost flipped it once. Okay, just once. So I maybe got a bit lucky this race, but could be worse. But although it was not too much challenges.
Alrighty, so you have, with your third position and with the misfortunes of everyone else, you take the championship lead heading into the final round. You'll have 167 points. Nicky will be second on 154, so you've got a 13-point gap. That's essentially first to third. Do you think you? What do you think are your chances for winning the championship, Ronnie?
After the failure in Kyoto Reversed, which is practically my area of racing, I'd say pretty minimal.
Well, we'll see. Kyoto National Reversed has got a fair bit of the oval with the drafting, and of course, anything can happen at any time. Back to you, Nicky. As I just mentioned, you'll be 13 points behind if, assuming no penalties or anything happen. Essentially, that is you winning and Ronnie finishing third. Do you think you've got a chance to win in 2 weeks' time at Kyoto National?
Well, this is more realistic scenarios, and I thought that Ulrich is the main competitor, and Flame didn't show up, so and Ulrich had a bad race, and yeah, so things worked so far. So we'll see. I mean, it's not impossible, and I'm a little bit surprised that Ronnie is on the podium, the first podium. So his consistency is very good, and he needs to step up, obviously. So we'll see. You know, it's gonna be very interesting, and it's a new track, it's different challenge, and this sort of thing.
The provisional point standing, of course, Ronnie on 167, Nicky on 154, Kapal on 145, and Ulrich on 134. So all four mathematically eligible, but the most likely scenario, of course, involved it being down to Mr. Jakovic and Krampus. Well, thank you all. We will conclude with some comments on the race in your native languages, starting with you, Mr. Jakovic.
Bog pozdrav svim gledateljima koji su sa Balkana. U ovoj utrci kvalifikacije za mene nisu baš bile najbolje. Kvalificirao sam se tek na trećoj poziciji za svojih glavnih konkurenata. Pokušao sam na startu da uradim što sam mogao, pratio sam ih dosta dugo. Ostavio sam malo prostora ako se dogodi kakva greška među njim dvojicom. I baš se to i dogodilo, njih dvojica su imali sudar. I onda sam uspio proći na prvu poziciju. Nedugo zatim je izašao safety car. Bio je jedan moment gdje je taj prevrnuti auto bio baš na liniji i malo je falilo, znate, da vodi tu kontakt, ali uspio sam proći to. I nakon toga gume su dosta ohladile, baš safety car vozi sporo i nakon tog restati slijedio i tu je bio mali problem jer sam odlučio da krenem prerano. Baš na izlasku iz krivine, možda je bilo bolje da sam krenuo negdje na pravcu od pogovih guma, znači to je nešto novo što sam naučio i nakon toga sam slijedio Artua koji je vodio utrku i imao je dosta dobra vremena, napravio malo razmaka, ali kad je otišao u boksove, ja sam mogao da to sve stignem pošto sam vozio sa nižim gorivom, a on je imao nove gume i dosta spore vremena tada. No, on je napravio mnogo grešaka u tom periodu, tako da mi je dosta olakšao to. I kad sam otišao u boksove, iako sam imao još goriva, čak da vozim još dulje, komfortno sam izašao na prvoj poziciji i nakon toga on je zapravo čak dosta zaostao, skoro čitav krug, te sam ja uspio tako da pobijedim utrku sa vjerojatno najvećom razmakom u povijesti ove ligi. Okay, there we go.
All right, thank you very much. R2, your comments in your native language.
Joo, tää texturepäkki on aika hieno ja kisakin oli ihan hieno, mutta ei ihan semmonen kuin itse toivoin, että ei tullut ykkössiä vaan kakkosia. Ja... No sekin on ihan ok, mutta tästä sitten eteenpäin. Thank you. Thanks.
Alrighty, thank you. And finally, Ronnie, comments in your native language.
Do I have to?
Yes.
Ok. Nu, ko lai daudz saka, sacensības sanāca diezgan labi, kaut no paša sākuma bija pašās beigās, tik pamazām tika uz 3. vietu. Bija sanāca dažas cīņas ar somiem, vienu somu tikai. Paveicās arī to, kā Vaiskorns savarēja, līdz ar to 3. vieta. Pirmo reizi uz podiumu šeit. Paldies par uzmanību. Thank you.
All right, thank you, and once again, congratulations to the top 3. Race winner, Niki Dakovic. Arturo Lestalo second, pushing Niki out of the way there, and Ronnie Krampus third. Again, congratulations, gentlemen. So, taking a look at the schedule yet to come. One
Eat
more
the
round
dust,
remaining
man.
this season. And that is the 49 laps at Kyoto National, the Grand Prix of Japan. Dom, we've had a pretty decent race, bit of carnage, but I think on the whole a fairly quiet and decent race for this penultimate round.
Certainly an improvement on the previous two, that's for sure. We can only hope that trend continues for the final round, really. Maybe get a few more cars and it'll look like a race. Throughout the entire field, not just the front.
We'll discuss it again in 2 weeks' time, but what are you expecting in Kyoto National?
Lots of overtaking, lots of aggressive driving compared to here, because as I said, it's a very wide and open track. Maybe a few people stuck in gravel traps. Who knows? I think time has to tell that. I can't.
Alrighty, well, once again, congratulations to Niki Dakovic on his race win. Once again, we'll see you on August 24th for the season finale. It'll be a pretty decent championship battle. It's looking that way on paper. Once again, that is the 24th of August, Grand Prix of Japan, Kyoto National, 49 laps. I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in. I'd like to thank Thela Falkenberg and Stu Baker, our race director and safety car driver, respectively, and Jonathan Provost, rescue car driver, getting to do a little bit of work today. And again, of course, thanks to all of you for tuning in. For Dominik Engel and all the rest of us here at New Dimension Racing, thanks for joining us. See you in 2 weeks for the series finale. Good night, everyone.